If you're looking for something outside the norm on Game Pass, we've unearthed 7 precious gems from its massive gaming library. How many have you played?
Oh, don't be like that now.
The thing about hype trains is that they move a bit quickly for taking in the sights along the way, don't they? Once we board one, yes, just a single for Elder Scrolls 6 please, no, just economy class, I'm not made of money, our minds are on that game and that game only. And while we're reading through frame-by-frame analysis pieces, we may well miss a bunch of titles that we'd enjoy just as much as the one we've got tunnel vision for. So, let's showcase a few such games. They're all on Xbox Game Pass for PC at the time we're making this video, and there's every chance you might have missed them while other games were shouting louder at you. We're enjoying them a lot right now, and if you do too, please leave us a thumbs up to let us know. Remember to subscribe if you want to hear more from us, and with that out of the way, let's head off the beaten track and check out some gems.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, let's get it.
Action RPGs usually give you just a handful of classes to pick from. In Nobody Saves the World, you're basically the hero and the game designer rolled into one sword-slinging, zombie, rat, bodybuilder hybrid. As you progress through the overworld into the trickier dungeons, you get to cherry-pick abilities from a dizzying array of different character types, basically making something totally bespoke, and all of its systems are so interlinked. So when you come up against an enemy that just mushes you into paste the first time you meet them, what you're actually faced with is a puzzle. Which combination of abilities and character perks will actually topple this behemoth? Made by the folks who brought you Guacamelee, it's another pixel-perfect slice of retro art and expertly judged mechanics with depth that takes an hour or two to get your head around and then 20 more hours spent obsessing over. Obsidian's the studio behind Knights of the Old Republic, Fallout New Vegas, Pillars of Eternity, and plenty more. It's so good at storytelling that the writers here could set a game in our own backyard and still make it feel like a fantastic adventure. And in this case, they did just that. Grounded's a survival game that makes the familiar and humdrum feel otherworldly by shrinking you down to bug-sized proportions. Yes, a lot like that Rick Moranis movie, although we don't remember them crafting spears out of blades of grass. Missed a trick there, didn't you, Rick? As you tool up and learn to navigate the dense jungles of your own suburban backyard, you'll eventually make it inside the house and uncover the mystery behind your newfound proportions. This one got lost between the bigger releases of 2020, but it's on Game Pass now and full of trademark Obsidian japery and offbeat adventuring. Games don't often give us a lot of downtime, do they? There are kingdoms to defend, mega villains to topple, police to outrun, and when every item on your chore list is of catastrophic importance, well, it can get a bit exhausting. Thank goodness for Lake, where the downtime is the game itself. You're Meredith, a city slicker working at the epicenter of the 1980s computing boom, who finds herself back in her small lakeside hometown, filling in for her dad, delivering the mail. And well, that's really it. Whether this turns into a romance, a friendship story, a tale about isolation, or just a by-the-numbers mail delivery sim depends on your decisions, who you talk to, how you talk to them, and simply how you spend your time. It's brilliantly voiced, full of well-drawn characters, and really pulls you into the rhythms of small-town life in a short spell. For anyone feeling a bit daunted by the prospect of repelling yet another apocalypse, this is the medicine.
I am here to deliver mail, and I come in peace.
You know that stunt that the school teacher pulls in high school movies where everyone gets detention if one person fails their test or nobody owns up to some hilarious prank? Well, the Roman Society of the Forgotten City operates on a bizarrely similar principle. Down here in this deep chasm, everybody obeys the golden rule. If one person commits a sin, absolutely everybody is sentenced to death. Yeah, you're thinking twice about TPing Mr. Jarrett's house now, aren't you, Chad?
If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die.
Your role is that of a time-travelling detective, a bit like Tom Cruise in Minority Report with sandals on, trying to figure out who's about to break the golden rule and changing the course of events in the Forgotten City so that everyone can avoid the death sentence and continue refining their quizzical expressions, or whatever else people do in their free time here. This actually began life as a Skyrim mod, would you believe? But it's become something so much more now with this bespoke release. Deathloop fans already have their ears pricked at the idea of resetting the clock and going back to the start of events if you don't uncover the culprit in time, and we're all for a bit of Roman Groundhog Day here too.
Ulpius, no!
metaphysical concept expressed as stylish doodles against a backdrop of monochrome negative space. A detective story about the Big Bang. Ladies and gentlemen, Genesis Noir. The strangest and most beautiful game you will play for a long time. Technically, this is a narrative-driven adventure, but there's actually very little spoken dialogue and almost no straight exposition. Instead, you're given the space to interpret what's going on for yourself, what each character represents. And if that all gets a bit taxing for your brain, you can just enjoy it as an audio-visual feast. There's some of that giddy 70s Pink Panther cartoon aesthetic about the visuals, and the sound matches it for incredibly impressive production values. Shredders really know snow. It's packed ski slopes, off-run powder, slushy bits, and best of all, the fresh, unsullied stuff. They're all rendered beautifully here. It all sounds incredible as you carve through it, and most importantly, it feels just right. It really feels like the next in line to the throne once occupied by 1080 snowboarding, cool borders and SSX, delivering a more realistic take on the sport that really puts you on the mountain, appreciating the natural beauty and reeling at the eerie silence when you leave a ramp and tumble through the air. The setup's all about influencers trying to make great content, with a familiar pull off this cool stunt for likes system that lends some purpose to all the titular shredding. Truthfully though, our favourite thing is just to go off and explore in freestyle, looking for great lines that connect kickers to grinds and taking in the always impressive views. Before Arcane Studios made its name as that lot who made Dishonored and Prey and Deathloop, it was the purveyor of this profoundly dark and strange RPG immersive sim hybrid. Waking up in a dungeon with nothing but a skull and a goblin neighbour to entertain yourself with, you embark on a quest to topple the god of destruction himself, one Akbar, and navigate a world of caves where basically all living things dwell after the sun set forever up on the surface. It's not famed for its mechanical polish or easy-to-grasp systems, and if people thought that at the time in 2002, when games were genuinely made of lollipop sticks and rubber bands, you can imagine how Arx Fatalis compares to modern releases. You've been warned then. Don't expect another Dishonored. Still, there's something about its single-minded weirdness and unique systems, like mouse gestures to cast magic spells, that keeps you exploring down to the next dank cave and risking a fatal bludgeoning from the next angry goblin.
Me cut you head off! Oh, what now?
And that's our gaming equivalent of a cool mixtape full of bands you've never heard of but listen to all the time now. Let's hear your own offbeat favourites down below in the comments and tell us if we've put you onto a game that you wouldn't have otherwise played. We've got to go and finish reading all these books about theoretical physics now so that next time we play Genesis Noir we can have some clue what's going on. Toodles, catch you in the next one.
Make sure you turn your camera on this time, okay? Let's draw.